I'm Dharma Pitchay, Associate Professor with the College of Agriculture, Tennessee State University. The topic of my presentation is Best Management Practices of Container-Grown Blueberry Production. The PMPs can pave the way for efficient use of water and nutrient resources and higher profit margins. Sustainable production and management practices leads to optimal use of fertilizer inputs with lower risks for their loss. Growing blueberries in containers is a unique blueberry plant production system using soil as substrate to grow them in containers. Growing blueberry plants in containers is in great demand by both consumers and producers because blueberries are loaded with antioxidants and phytonutrients. Blueberry plants are easy to grow as long as the substrate in which they are to be grown is acidic. In the fall, their foliage turns crimson red, which can be used in landscape. What are the required environmental factors for growing blueberries? Good amount of light, optimal temperature between 60 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and a chilling period. Blueberry is sensitive to water stress, just like any other plants, especially during the actively growing period. Good water supply is critical during fruit development stages, right from unripened to fully ripened. These are the effects of poor water management during fruiting. What are the conservation practices for container production of blueberry? It requires precise and properly timed applications of inputs in quantities that result in maximum benefits and minimum resources risk. Some of the selected issues that relate to growing blueberry include ammonium versus nitrate form of nitrogen, irrigation water alkalinity, fertilizer types acidic versus basic, substrate components acidic versus basic, calcium sources lime versus gypsum, and high temperature could result in ammonia volatilization due to a high percentage of ammonium application. Nutrient management and monitoring of pH EC is an important component in blueberry production. For premium blueberry production, the ammonium form of nitrogen should be above 75%, and the nitrate form of nitrogen should be less than 25%, plus all essential nutrients for uptake. The monitoring and managing of substrate pH (NEC) on a weekly basis is an important aspect of blueberry production. pH NEC monitoring and managing guideline for blueberry. The optimal pH for blueberry is between 5.5 to 6. The optimal EC for blueberry is less than 2. If the pH drops to less than 5.5, apply lime. If the pH rises greater than 6, add acid to irrigation water. If the EC drops to less than 2.0, increase fertilizer rate. If the EC rises greater than 2, reduce the fertilizer rate and leach the excess salt. For making the necessary adjustment for both pH and EC, refer to suggestions provided in these rectangular boxes. The fundamental requirements of blueberry rhizosphere. The substrate should be acidic and the pH should be between 5.5 and 6. Chilling period is from 80 to 160 days depending on the variety of blueberry. Blueberries are sensitive to several environmental conditions such as drought, salinity, waterlogged or flooding conditions, liming, nitrate form of nitrogen fertilizers, soil and water alkalinity. Nutrient and water management challenges for container-grown blueberry. It requires uniform delivery of adequate amount of water for optimum blueberry plant growth and development. Therefore, the selection of soil substrate based on its physical and chemical properties is critical. The various soil substrate components include peat, coir, fresh and aged pine bark. The physical and chemical properties of substrate coir. It has high pH and EC with excellent aeration and water holding capacity with low bulk density. Here are the physical and chemical properties of substrate peat. It has low pH and EC with excellent water holding capacity but moderate aeration with low bulk density. Blueberry is considered ammonium loving plants and performs well in 100% ammonium nitrogen with good root growth. There is hardly any root growth in 100% nitrate nitrogen supplied plant. This is a nitrogen and calcium source flow chart with the emphasis of 4R nutrient stewardship. For best growth, the ammonium should be above 75% and the nitrate less than 25%. As for calcium, use gypsum and avoid liming. The water pH should be acidic. In Tennessee, the water is alkaline and leads to iron deficiency. Therefore, acidify the water with vinegar or sulfuric acid. Premium blueberry production can be achieved by carrying out the best management practices as shown in this flow chart. This is how the blueberry plants express the symptoms of nitrogen deficiency at early stages of deprivation. As you can see, the image on the left has developed a reddish pigmentation on the lower older leaves, indicating lack of nitrogen. With extended disruption of nitrogen supply, the reddish pigmentation of older leaves intensifies. In summary, the form of nitrogen supply is critical for blueberry production. Unlike most plants, blueberry prefers ammonium form of nitrogen than the nitrate form of nitrogen. The ammonium source should be greater than 75% of the total nitrogen in the fertilizer. It is critical to look for the nitrogen source in the fertilizer bags before applying fertilizers. The application of fertilizers such as calcium nitrate, potassium nitrate, or sodium nitrate should be minimized. Liming of soil is not recommended for blueberry production unless the substrate pH is below 5. Thank you. For additional information, you may visit this link.